Hi guys, Surprise here, your local pothead expanding our universe, back with another video. Yes sir. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm good. Welcome back to episode 3 of the Metaphysics of the Mind. This is a 5-part series where I am diving into all things the mind. The mind as a creative engine, your ego, your shadows, manifesting, and all that. So far we have covered episode 1 and episode 2. In episode 1, we were just defining the terms. We defined what the mind is, we defined what metaphysics is, we defined the layers of the mind. Yeah, and we saw how the mind is an energy field. A field of energy, let me use that term instead. We saw how the mind is a field of energy, right? Right. And then in episode 2, we went into seeing how the mind is a creative engine. The mind doesn't just think, it creates your reality. We went ahead and defined what manifestation is, what vibration and frequency is, what consciousness is, collective consciousness, all that. And speaking on episode 2, I just wanted to remind you guys, I kept saying ile statement here, you manifest who you are, not what you want. And that goes, how will I say, that includes the people who are in your life. Everybody that is in your life, you have manifested. They are a mirror of the things maybe that you have worked on or the things that you are supposed to work on. Nothing is ever a coincidence. The environment you're in is a manifestation of your thoughts. The people around you are a manifestation of your thoughts. The job you have is a manifestation of your thoughts. In short, the lived experience that you have is a manifestation of your thoughts. Right? And finally, we are now in episode 3. Yay! And today on episode 3, I get to cover the shadow mind. This is the ego, traumas, and the subconscious. Let's get into it. So in episode 1, I was able to cover the 3 layers of the mind, where we divided it into the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the higher mind. I would say that in episode 1, we were setting the foundation. Yes. Then in episode 2, we were focusing on the conscious mind, how your awareness, the things that you know, the things that you think every day, the things that you surround yourself with every day, the conscious mind, how your conscious mind shapes your reality, how your thoughts lead up to your emotions, which lead up to your behavior, which lead up to your lived reality. Yes, I would say that is the conscious mind, sana. Yeah. So on today's episode, we are focusing on the subconscious mind. This is the second layer of the mind. This is where your patterns are stored. This is where your the subconscious mind runs the background programs. This is where your habits, your beliefs, your memories, your triggers are stored. 90% of your behavior comes from here, and the subconscious mind executes whatever you are conditioned to. Are we up to speed? Yes, we are. So the mind doesn't only create consciously, it also creates unconsciously. The subconscious mind makes up the bigger percentage of your mind. This is 90 to 95% of your mind is the subconscious mind. Okay, so today we meet the parts of the mind that many people tend to run away from. You know, for you to be able to understand your subconscious mind, you must be able and actually be willing to want to dig deeper. Okay, so we are going to cover the ego, as I have already mentioned. We're going to cover the ego, wounds, and the subconscious. This is the part of the mind that reacts before we even think, because it is already programmed. Inakuanga mbele ya hata conscious mind, because it has already analyzed the situation according to the experiences you've had. Okay, so it analyzes all your situations depending on the experiences that you've had in the past, and it deduces and reacts even before your conscious mind catches up. This is the part of your mind that could hold your triggers. We'll get there. Let me walk step by step. Let me not jump the gun. Okay, so this includes your automatic behavior, your emotional reactions, learned patterns, memory associations, survival response, and bodily regulation. These are all stored in your subconscious mind. So I'm going ahead to move on to the next part of the video, where I will be defining what the ego is, and yeah, just touch on the ego kiasi. Many at times people think the ego is that thing that in layman's language, many people believe that the ego is that part of your mind that gives you self-worth. And I do agree. I do agree with that. Because your ego's job is to protect you, and it does this with the information that is already stored in your subconscious mind. The ego is the system that organizes your sense of self based on lived experiences. So from whatever you have been through, that is how your ego is developed. Your self-worth is developed around the experiences you've had. Your level of confidence is developed around the experiences you've had. Your level of self-respect is developed according to the experiences you've had. Yes? Yes. So if the mind is the creative engine, you can consider the ego as the safety protocol. The ego is always wanting to protect you. That is the only job of your ego, because it knows your self-worth, it knows your self-confidence, it knows the level at which you hold yourself. So it knows what to protect you from and what to allow you to experience. And this is all based on past experiences. Okay? So the structure that formed around your earliest experiences of safety, love, rejection, and belonging, this is what the ego is. Whatever came up so that it could be able to protect you. Okay? It works on the basis of familiarity. Ego doesn't choose what is right or what is wrong. It only chooses what feels familiar, whether it is good for you or not. This is why you tend to hear many people saying you need to kill the ego. And I find that to be not a very correct thing, because your ego is your avatar. Your ego is how you walk this earth. You don't need to kill your ego, really. You just need to learn and understand how your ego works. And then, ni kama tu programming. When you notice a code has a bug in programming, you will remove that code and replace it with a better code. That is what the ego needs. It doesn't need to be killed. When you kill your ego, you lose your self-worth. When you kill your ego, you lose your self-confidence. You lose yourself, literally. Because your ego is the one who helps you walk this earth. Okay? Okay, then we'll move on to the subconscious mind. This is the storage room, as we had stated in episode 1, and I'm stating it again. This is the storage room. This is where all your patterns, as I have already said, your emotional reactions, your automatic behavior, memory association, this is where it is all stored in your subconscious mind, the second layer of your mind. This part of your mind acts faster than logic, acts faster than intention, and faster than self-help. The mind can't create beyond what the subconscious mind believes. Say, I view, okay, I'll give examples when we move further, okay? Just allow me to give the examples as we move further along. I feel like I don't have an appropriate example to give at this point. So the ego stores everything it learns in the subconscious mind, which runs stored memory, survival strategies, etc. beneath awareness, okay? So what does the subconscious mind hold? It holds early experiences of safety and danger, messages about love, worth, and belonging, emotions that were too big for the environment you were in, family patterns you absorbed, cultural conditioning. All that is what is stored in the subconscious mind. If I'm to give examples on the let's say a few things that the subconscious holds, early experiences of safety and danger. Say you grew up around a family that was very protective of you, a family that really, looked out for your safety, looked out for your well-being. Your subconscious mind will learn, your ego stored that as the truth. So your subconscious mind knows that family means protection, family means preservation. Say you grew up in a family that didn't really like, your parents or your guardians didn't really protect you to that extent. They left you to basically parent yourself. Your subconscious mind will automatically take that as the truth. You will grow up knowing that you only have yourself to depend on, and that you can't really wait for people to come and protect you. You will have to find ways, find strategies, develop mechanisms to protect yourself. Okay. Messages about love, worth, and belonging. The kind of relationships that you experienced growing up are what will shape how you see and experience relationships. Say you've never been around any healthy relationship. You don't know what a healthy relationship looks like. You've not, let's say, you've not been brought up by both your parents being present, yeah? That is what your subconscious mind will hold as truth. Since you do not have the exact good example of a healthy relationship, your subconscious mind won't be able to like tell say abuse is wrong, because if you have grown up around physical abuse, that is what your subconscious mind knows, so that is what it holds to be true. So messages around love. Say you were told that you ask for too much, you're doing too much, stop it. You will learn to shrink yourself and not ask for too much. You'll learn to be hyper independent, because now you don't want to ask for too much. You don't want to like feel like a burden towards the people around you. Okay? Family patterns that you absorbed. We have spoken, I have a video on my ramblings on family dysfunction, generational cycles, and healing. In that video, I touched on I can say that I touched on like family patterns kidogo. So there's just these patterns that you can see are usually passed down in your family. Say alcoholism. You realize that in every generation in your family, there's someone who suffers with alcoholism. That is a family pattern that has been passed down. That is stored in the subconscious mind. I am not saying that you can't change these things. It is just that it will take conscious effort to change them, because it's hard to convince your subconscious mind to let go of what or how best it feels to protect you. You will have to ease in your ego, ease in your subconscious mind into it. Okay? All these things are stored as sensation, emotion, and association in the subconscious mind. As I have said, it is not stored as, okay, let me focus on how it is stored. It is stored as sensation. You might just be sitting somewhere, then you say, let's say people are, you notice a couple fighting. And it takes you back to the time where you grew up in a family that your mom and dad used to fight, okay? So in that moment that you see the couple fighting, it will take you back to the first time you saw your parents fighting, and it will feel like an emotion inside of you. It will feel like I said, ooh, I noticed I've just hit the mic. I hope hapo sijawapigia kelele. Yeah. What was I saying? It will come out as a sensation. You will feel it. You will associate it. No, you will associate it to that particular time in your life. That is how these things are stored. Okay? It doesn't care. The subconscious mind, I've already said this, the subconscious mind doesn't care if something is good for you. It just needs to know if this thing feels familiar, whether it's good for you or not. It is based on familiarity. Okay? So whatever feels familiar is what your subconscious mind will be drawn to most. Maybe, not even maybe, which is why it is so hard to break patterns. Like, you will need to put conscious effort into breaking patterns, because that is what your subconscious mind finds familiar. So that is what it will automatically move towards. You now need to like show it that, hey, I know this feels familiar, but this is no longer working for us in this dispensation. This is no longer working for us in this new reality that we are in this life that we are trying to build. And I'm gonna need you to just maybe let go of that, and let's replace that with a new program. Yes. So trust your body. Your body is your number one, how can I say it? Your body is what will show you what your subconscious mind is feeling firsthand. Because we have said it is stored as sensation, emotion, and association. For you to be able to feel these things, you have to be present in your body. Your heart skips a beat when someone shouts at you, because you knew shouting leads to violence. Yeah? Your heart skips a beat when you hear your mom or your dad calling you, because you knew each time they called you with such excitement, it was always a good thing. So each time you hear them call you in such with a certain level of excitement, you know maybe they've brought something back home for you. You know, so unajuanga tu when your parents come home, if they're angry or if they're feeling like they're in a good mood. So you, from the tone, from what all that is stored in your subconscious mind, you are able to know how to navigate. You are able to know how to go about it. So yeah, trust your body as your subconscious's voice. Your body remembers what your mind had to forget in order to survive. Sometimes our mind blocks out traumatic experiences. Sometimes our minds forget, not just necessarily blocking out traumatic experiences, but just like basically forgetting things. But your subconscious mind will never forget it. And your body is the voice to your subconscious mind. That is how you know if you are feeling comfortable or not. You meet up with someone and roho imekataa, damu zimekatana. What is that? That is your body telling you that we have been in this situation before. We can tell that this person has, let's say, A, B, C, D characteristics. But since you want to ignore it, you go on ahead and indulge. And then in the end, you see why your body was kataring that person. I know. Why your body was refusing that person. Mbona damu ilikuwa inakataa in the first place. Okay. So we move on to the next part of the video where we'll be touching on trauma. And I like to think as trauma as frozen energy. Trauma is energy that is not in motion. Iyo wakati uli experience hiyo kitu, you are stuck in that moment. That is what trauma is. So each time you experience that thing in this lived reality, it takes you back to the first time you experienced it. The first time you went through that traumatic experience. So trauma is what happens when an experience enters the subconscious mind but never gets resolved. Stored, it's frozen, it is not in motion. This is energy that is not in motion. I would say emotions are the opposite of trauma, because emotions are energy in motion. When you face your emotions, you are releasing trauma. So what stayed in the body when you didn't feel safe enough? What am I saying? What stayed in your body when you did not feel safe enough to process the experience? That is what trauma is. The mind is not broken. You know, many people, when they hear about ego, trauma, shadow, and shadow work, they think now that you're broken, now it means you're broken and you need fixing. No, you're not broken. You just need to recognize them and deal with them. Stop storing them as frozen energy and let it flow. Let it move through you so that other things can be able to come in and also move through you. Because now you don't have space in you if you're holding on to it. Sindio? So the mind is not broken. Parts of it just got stuck in a moment and never got updated. As I have said, think of this as programming. Okay? So your mind, nishasema, ile time yenye uli experience hiyo kitu for the first time. Each time you experience it again, your mind automatically takes you back to that first time you experienced it, where your body got stuck. Sawa? We are done with trauma. Now let's move on to how your shadow shows up in daily life. And what is your shadow? I would say your shadow is the space between what you are right now and what you had to become to survive or protect yourself. So your shadow is that space between those two. Okay, your shadow is the shadow is the part of you that formed in response to what you wouldn't safely express, feel, or be. It shows up as triggers, patterns, and emotional reflexes. Sawa. So your shadow is not this evil thing that people want to make it look like. Your shadow is not the devil. Your shadow is just how you learned to cope with the lived experiences you have had, basically. So as you continue to grow, you then realize if something is working for what you are trying to build or if it is not working. So from the shadows, you get to pick out what system is not working for the life I'm trying to build for myself and what system is working. Sawa. So your shadow contains unexpressed anger, unmet needs, grief that did not have space, desires that felt risky, all that, hizo vitu zote zenye say you needed to suppress, that is what your shadow is. Every behavior of yours, every thought process of yours that was maybe shunned, shamed, ridiculed, that is what is in the shadow. That is what is your shadow self. Everything that you felt the light should not be touching, everything that you felt you should like, everything that you felt is not safe to express or be. Say you grew up wanting to be an artist and everyone around you was just like, ai, wewe unafikiria usanii itakupeleka wapi? That created a shadow, because now your artist self is sitting in the shadows literally, because now amekuwa shunned. Hajui kama ni safe for them to show themselves in the world. I would say your artist self then becomes a shadow. Okay? Say you kept being shamed for your sensuality, especially as a woman. You kept being shamed for your sensuality, for how you move, for your femininity, because you move with feminine grace. Everybody thinks, oh, now you're just trying to seduce people. So you are shamed for it from a young age. You will grow up shaming your sensuality and your femininity and your sexuality. You will grow up not wanting to show it. You will grow up wanting to shield it from the world. That becomes a shadow. I think tunapatana hadi hapo, si ndio? Chonjo. So shadow work is not about fixing. Inzi imekata kuniacha. Shadow work is not about fixing yourself. It's about listening to the parts that you were never heard. Sasa unaona unakaa chini una notice, by the way, ile time nini ilifanyika, hiyo ndo time niliachanga let's say kuimba. That day when I was told, oh, I have a bad voice, that is the day I stopped singing. So shadow work is not trying to fix the fact that you stopped singing. Shadow work is trying to accept the fact that you were hurt when you were told you have a bad voice, and realizing that you can actually sing if you want to. It's trying to show love to those parts that did not receive love. It's trying to shine the light. Shadow work is literally shining the light on the shadows, because they don't receive light. They are hidden away, that they are tucked away from the people because of shame, because of all that, all those low vibrational feelings. Yeah. So shadow work is about listening to those parts and giving those parts space to shine. And yeah, I think I'm clear enough. Not even I think, I know I'm clear enough on that part. Yeah, so we move on. How your shadow shows up. Your shadow can show up in so many ways. Please remember that your shadow is based on your past experiences. Everything that you have experienced has been stored somewhere. Everything that you have experienced has been stored in your subconscious mind. So your shadows come up in different ways every day. I will give examples. Overthinking. Okay, Cindy, overthinking and mental loops. Say you grew up around an environment that you had to walk on eggshells. Like, there was so much chaos to the extent that you needed to know, you needed to be able to tell, how are they feeling today? Ndonisi kanyage waya. How are they behaving today, so that I can know how to approach them. You grew up around a lot of chaos, so you had to overthink, you had to get into mental loops. You grew up not having the clarity, so you had to, let's say, figure it out on your own. You will end up overthinking about everything, Sindio, in your daily life. Okay, feeling unworthy even when things are going well. Haujazaliwa in abundance. Say you come from a relatively poor background. You're not used to abundance. You are used to kwanza kuambiwa, oh, you shouldn't be asking for a lot of things because there's not enough money. When you grow up, you'll realize that even no matter the amount of money you get, if you have not worked on giving that shadow part that was shamed and shunned and told not to speak out and ask for things, if you have not showed love to that part, you will never feel like you have enough, even when things are going well. You'll never feel worthy of the abundance. You might be earning the most money, but it won't make sense because you don't feel worthy of it. You feel like you still need to prove yourself. You feel like you still need to work so hard. Okay? Yes. Another way that your shadow shows itself in your day-to-day life, it could be over-explaining and shrinking. Umezaliwa place yenye lazima ungeji-explain sana cause kila time watu walikuwa wanakumisunderstand. Ama you felt so misunderstood to the extent that you even like ulishika hiyo tabia ya kushinda umeji-explain. Every time something happens, you feel like you need to explain yourself so much, or you feel like you don't need to take up so much space. Oh, I had this. I would say I am working on this part. You don't want to be in the spotlight. You want to shrink yourself because you are told, oh, you're doing too much. Who do you think you are taking up so much space like that? Ebu chill. Ebu rudi huko nyuma na utulie. You learn to literally shrink yourself. You will learn to shrink yourself. And every day you will feel the need to hide yourself. You will feel the need to like, oh, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Okay? Okay. Attracting familiar pain. So you realize that you are literally attracting the same person just in different bodies. Because maybe you didn't deal with your abandonment issues. So you always feel like, even if nobody will ever stay, everyone will always leave. Those are literally the kind of partners, or those are literally the kind of experiences you will attract to yourself. Because your subconscious mind knows nobody is here to stay, everybody will leave. So if anything, I am going to abandon you first before you even abandon me. That hit a nerve. Moving on swiftly. Reacting faster than you want to. Yeah, that I feel like Simna understand you. Let's say you grew up in a place where you needed to defend yourself so much. Most of your life experiences have been you defending yourself so much. So even now, you will react even faster than how you're feeling because I have to defend myself. I have to be on the defense, you know? Fear of being seen, being the fixer always. Yani wewe ndo unafikiria wewe ndio Yesu. Wewe ndo unataka kufix everybody. You are attracted to pain and wounds, and you just feel like, I'm the one who can save him or her. I'm the one. Please save yourself first. Maybe it's because nobody ever wanted to help you, or nobody ever like wanted to let's say volunteered to help you fix things in your life, which is why you'd want to fix everything. You know, like, hizi ni vitu zenye zinafanyikanga every day. How you behave is not a coincidence. The patterns in your behavior, how you think, the emotions that you carry, the triggers, ati sijui mtu tu sijui amesema nini na isha kutrigger ikakupeleka, let's say 5 years ago when nani said the same thing. That is not a coincidence. It's remembrance. Your subconscious mind literally remembers that time. Sawa. So everything, your behavior is not a coincidence. It's not like ati you woke up today and you started behaving like that. It comes from somewhere. It stems literally from somewhere. Okay? Okay. So we are going to move. Oh, yeah, sabotaging relationships is another way that this comes up. The shadow comes up. Because you know that people never stay. So you sabotage it. Ndio, isikuwe yeye ndo alikusabotage. Ni kama you stay ahead of the game. Your mind stays ahead of the game. Oh, because I don't want to be hurt, I will hurt them first. So that, yeah, because I'm used to everything being sabotaged. So I might as well just sabotage it myself and get it over with. Yeah. So the African, as we began this series, I said that I'm focusing here on African metaphysics. So I had to, tie it in somehow. So the African concept of the shadow. In many African spiritual systems, it is said that we have a double self, yin and yang. Everybody has that. One that moves in the wild, surviving, performing, and reacting. This is visible to others, adapts, negotiates, and protects. Okay? And the inner keeper. This is the one that holds memory, wisdom, and truth. This is the one that remembers who you were before the world taught you roles. This is the one that remembers who you were before the world filled you up with everything that you are filled up with these emotional patterns, filled you up with this, triggers, So the inner keeper carries unprocessed experiences, the lessons your outer self needed to survive. Sawa, like as much as that part of your life ilipita, haimaanishi sasa ati everything is forgotten, especially if you did not deal with it, especially if you just like stored it instead of like processing it. It will literally, ndio maana iko unprocessed. Hata let's not even go into especially if you did not. It is because you did not process it. That is why it is stored in that manner. Sawa. So in many African spiritual systems, it is said that we have a double self. I feel like even in very many systems, like yin and yang, light and dark, we all have these aspects about us. Even the universe has these aspects about it. Like, yeah. Sindio. Because there's light and dark, there's day and night. There's your shadow self and there's this other outer self that you project into the world. And then there's your inner self, the shadow. Maybe the ones who you don't let the world see every day. Okay? So the shadow exists in the space between these two selves. The tension between who you are now and who you had to become to protect yourself. That is where the shadow exists. Shadow work is remembrance, reclaiming what was never fully expressed and integrating it. Now that unajua, I was shamed for this a lot and I really do enjoy doing this, will you continue living your life shaming that part of yourself? No, you have to integrate it into your life. Because as much as people don't understand it, you understand it. You know what it means. So integrate it into your life and find space for it in your life instead of just letting it take the back seat and taking the back burner. Because the longer you try to ignore your shadow, the louder it will scream. Because honestly, your shadow just wants to be seen, not even by the world, by you. Your shadow wants to be acknowledged by its owner. That's it. Not by the world. The world doesn't need to get it. The world literally doesn't need to get it. As long as you get it and process it, as long as you get it and you process it and you embrace it, you integrate it, that's it. The world will have to deal with who you have become. Sindio. Yeah. So, making peace with your shadow. The shadow is a part of you and you are not broken. Mmenikumbusha tu like like 2 weeks ago somebody asked me, Kwani who hurt you? You're so broken. No, you're not. You're not broken. It's just that you deal with it. You have chosen maybe not to deal with it. Why? And then sasa inarioka kila saa. It's not that you're broken. It's just that maybe you just need to put in the effort to integrate it instead and to live truthfully and authentically. Okay? So, the shadow is a part of you. You can't eliminate your shadow. There's no way you will ignore that part of yourself up until it dies. It will never die. If anything, it will get louder and louder. You'll realize unaendelea tu kumove inauthentically and it is costing you. Nobody but you. So, you don't have to shun it. You don't have to eliminate it. We are not killing the shadow. We are not killing the ego. Let go of those notions. We are integrating them. We are knowing them. We are learning them. Understanding why it is the way, why they are the way they are. Yeah, that's the statement I was looking for. Understanding that and integrating that and knowing sasa, if this is a trigger for me, where did it begin? When first was I triggered with this particular situation? When first was I triggered by this particular emotion? When first was I triggered by this particular behavior? And once you understand when you were triggered, you'll go back to that moment and you'll deal with why you were triggered. Dealing with the why is you integrating your shadow into your normal day-to-day life. And you embracing it, you shining light on it and actually telling it that I see you, I acknowledge you, I hear you. Situsha sema, what is trauma? What is like shadow? What is your shadow? These are parts of you that were kept away, parts of you that you didn't get to express and be. Sindio? So 3 tips on how to make like peace with your shadow. Number one, awareness. Awareness is everything. Awareness is where it's at. Noticing your patterns, your triggers, all that. Once you are in awareness of it, you know where it stems from. You understand why inakuja hivyo vile inakuja. Sindio? Then once you understand, once you are aware of it, once you understand it, then the shadow reacts. This is sasa the second tip. The shadow reacts when it is unheard. Ignoring it only increases tension. You are aware of it. Why are you ignoring it? You know this part exists in you. Why are you acting like it doesn't? It will only scream louder. It will only get louder. Because it is in your, oh, by the way, I have affirmation cards. Lucky. Yeah. I don't know. It's not focusing. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah. What was I saying? The more you try to suppress it, the louder it will scream. And the harder it will be to be able to integrate it. Si mnajua habits die hard. The longer you keep on at a habit, the more it becomes truth in you. And the harder it will be to change it. That is why it is so hard to shadow work is tough. Because you have to face it head on. You are literally looking in a mirror and you can't kid yourself. You can't lie to yourself. You can't fake it. Okay? The third tip, compassion over judgment. Mimi ni kama mimi ndo nilikuwa ninafaa kusikia hii tip. Surprise, shika masikio na usikize. Compassion over judgment. Was it today or yesterday? Sometime this week. Yeah. I posted something on my thread saying the way somebody earlier this year told me I am so hard on myself. It's because I'm so self-aware. You know, being aware of something and still going on and doing it, knowing that it is not something that will serve the kind of life you're building is just hard to, yeah. Being so self-aware in this human experience is a hard thing. Because now, you are already judging yourself. Because you know better. Why are you not doing better? So compassion over judgment. Compassion over judgment. The reason ina repeat kwa sababu haujadeal nayo. Si ati ina repeat kwa sababu we ni mtu mbaya. Wow. Yeah, that was for me. Your pattern ina repeat kwa sababu you have not dealt with it. It's not repeating because you are a bad person or because you are broken. It's repeating because you haven't dealt with it. So what? Deal with it. And then compassion over judgment. Compassion over judgment. If you are already placing judgment on yourself, the world will be harsher on you. So why not just be compassionate towards yourself? Because the world will be harsh anyway. Nobody gets it like you do. Nobody gets yourself the way you do. Right? So already, there's this aspect of your shadow that the world would see and they would go ballistic over it, right? They would be like, why are you like that? Sasa mbona una behave hivyo? Kwani you are not raised right? Sindio? The world already is doing that, so why would you do that to yourself? Surprise. Why do you do that to yourself? Compassion over judgment all day, every day. It is your first time living this human experience, so please be compassionate with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Take time. It might take the whole lifetime on this earth to deal with something. But as long as you are putting conscious effort into dealing with it, I call that growth. As long as you are putting conscious effort towards integrating it and not eliminating it, towards understanding the why. Why is it the way it is? How did it come about? Where did it come about? When? Sawa? Compassion over judgment. Then, integration over correction. Vile nishasema, we are not here trying to fix it. We are here trying to integrate it. Why is... Mbona mbona my subconscious mind ina feel the need to protect me in this way. Then nina find out ni kwa sababu by the way nikiwa mtoto nani alinibuli na akaniambia these words. Oh, so inani protect kwa sababu ina feel ni kama nina need blah blah blah. Okay, moving forward, I understand that maybe ninaweza legeza the overprotection. Sindio, kwa sababu now I know why, and I won't put myself, as long as it is in my control, I won't put myself in the situation where I will have to experience it. Not at you're trying to like correct it, you're trying to like fix it, you're trying to be like, no, it's very, very wrong. It's not very wrong because it came from somewhere. Why did it come up? Why did you feel the need to protect yourself the way you did? There is a reason. It's not all wrong. I promise it's not all wrong. It's just that now when it becomes a habit that is hindering you from achieving the kind of life you are trying to build for yourself, that is when it becomes a problem. Sawa? Yeah, that's it for today. I love this video. I will always say this because by the way nyamjui chenye hii series inanifanyia. Hii series I'm just healing myself. I'm just experiencing creating this series in a very different way. And I just love it. I love it. Nothing more, nothing less. Hey, so yeah, please pay attention to the last 4 tips I've given you and realize that you are not here. You're not broken. We have all had different life experiences that have shaped us to be who we are. I could never be able to explain it to someone else why I deal with conflict the way I deal with conflict if they've not experienced conflict from my POV. Conflict resolution, by the way. That is another way your shadow shows up in your day-to-day life. How do you deal with conflict? Are you somebody who avoids conflict? Are you somebody who confronts conflict? Are you somebody who erupts? Like unashikilia vitu alafu siku moja unapasuka. You know? Things like that. It's your literally vitu zenye naongelelea ni vitu zenye tunaishi every day. It's not as complex as it may seem. It's easy. It's things you do every day. Sawa? I can't remember what I'll be covering on episode 4. I usually give like a foreshadow of what I'll be covering, but today I can't because my notes for that are very far. So sikumbuki exactly what it is, but we are now moving to the next step. You know, we are here to expand our universe. So catch you on the next one, episode 4 of the Metaphysics of the Mind by yours truly, Surprise, your local pothead. Right. Follow us on our social media handles at _yourlocal.pothead on Instagram and at _nyagoha on Instagram too. The rest of my accounts, I will be inserting them at the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me something. Engage me. Involve me. Tell me what you think. Or you don't even have to tell me what you think. I hope this resonates with somebody, if not everybody. I hope this brings clarity as much as vile meniletea. Because kwanza this episode 3 has brought me so much clarity. It has brought me so much clarity. And I hope it does that for you guys, my audience, my people, my community. Okay. Go be great. Go live the biggest life you can ever conjure up in your mind. Remember, your reality is shaped by your thoughts. So anza kujifunza kufikiria hizo thoughts. Anza kujifunza kufikiria vitu zenye unataka actually. Na kuembody vitu unataka. Alrighty? Your local pothead out.